If you had told me back in December that I would spend 3 weeks traveling alone for my spring break, I wouldn't have believed you. It's not that I'm afraid or embarrassed to be alone, it's just that I'm an extrovert and enjoy being around others more than just myself. But I had a specific goal for my vacation. Certain places I wanted to see and things I wanted to do for which I couldn't find someone to take the whole journey with. There were friends I'd planned on seeing along the way, but no one I'd spend more than a couple days with. And so this trip would be a new way of traveling I'd never done before. I planned to visit cities in Andalusia, take a ferry to Morocco, camp in the Sierra Nevada, and travel with my dad for a few days in the Basque region. Along the way, I met the most interesting people from around the globe, discovered how to be truly genuine, and realized the value of my family and friends. For the first 3 days I was in Sevilla. It was a perfect 75 degrees outside every day, and I met up with friends from Michigan and Pamplona. Though I stayed in a 10-bed hostel room alone, I was still in my comfort zone. From there, I went to Cadiz, a surfing town on the coast of the Atlantic. I wanted to take a surf lesson, but was sad to find out everything was closed for Semana Santa, Holy Week, and the weather forecast looked gloomy. On accident, I ran into friends from Pamplona and spent an afternoon with them, but at that point I realized I'd wanted to do my own thing, so we said goodbye and I went off to explore a nearby island and read by the ocean. That night, a group of people from my hostel, all solo travelers, went together to see the processions, a tradition done in Spain where a parade floats throughout the city. We ended up staying awake until 6 a.m. together, playing games in the hostel and talking about our countries and lives. And I remember thinking that all of these people, whom I met in a random city in Spain, are so far removed from my real world. What I mean is that those people from Germany, Belgium, South Africa, Australia, and Egypt didn't know me before and will likely never know anyone I know, and that felt weird to me. But taking a step back in that moment also allowed me to realize that I was being truly myself. I didn't adjust my personality to hang out with them, and I noticed how comfortable I was in my skin that night. From that experience, I felt stronger as a person and forced myself into an entirely foreign scenario and maintained my genuine personality. I was alone, far from my real world, but I felt really close to the strangers around me. Over the following week, I had similar experiences in Tangier. I took chances on strangers that were far out of my comfort zone. I met a stranger on the ferry, a Latvian vagabond, and we ended up sharing an Airbnb together for the next 3 nights. While finding that Airbnb, we had asked strangers for help and actually got into someone's car who offered to take us there. And mind you that this was not a cab or an Uber, by the way. Looking back, that could have been a terrible decision, but it ended up bringing good fortune to us. Our new friend Yasser ended up showing us around his city for the next 2 days. We saw his home, the best view of the city, and he treated us to the best tagine in Morocco. It was really a chance to see Tangier from a local's perspective and learn what it's like to live there. About a week later, I started feeling some burnout. I spent a day reading and resting alone because I was drained from socializing with so many new people. And I was also excited because the next day I'd go to San Sebastian to meet my dad for the last leg of my trip. It felt really nice to spend time with someone familiar again. It allowed me to appreciate the value of both family and friends. There's a certain comfort you feel when you're with someone who really understands you. If you get a chance to travel alone, you should take it. It takes a willingness to leave your world, but you will meet the most unimaginable people, learn things you didn't know about yourself, and find greater value in the family and friends you have at home. I can't wait for my next journey.